Hello everyone. We have an awesome clip today that's pretty funny to me, and I think you will enjoy it a lot. It's a Piers Morgan interview where AOC has an issue responding to a foreign policy question regarding Taiwan, and we will talk about that as well. So let's start with the clip.
U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to.
Basically, she's asking, what are we going to do if China forcibly tries to take Taiwan? Are we going to commit troops? What are we going to do? Are we going to stop them, or are we going to roll over? That's the question at hand, and it's a legitimate question. And as a Democrat, you should be pretty tough in this situation, in my opinion, because you have to win the general as well.
I think that this is such a...
Now, it's not looking good. It's already been about 5 seconds, and we didn't say absolutely anything yet, except for answer something like a teenager that has no idea why she didn't do something or what she should do.
I think that this is a...
Now, roughly another 5 seconds passed, so we're up to about 10 seconds, and nothing has been said yet at all. Just rephrasing, restarting, and it's not looking too good.
This is, of course, a very long-standing...
So now, this is the third 5-second block where we didn't say anything. And luckily, she's about to start saying something now, but it's been 15 seconds and put on the spot about a question that will be a significant question for any Democratic or Republican candidate for the 2028 election. You should really know this one.
This is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Finally, she ends up cleaning stuff up at the end, even though she still never made a statement about would she defend Taiwan or would she commit troops to Taiwan. She basically talked about the long-standing tradition, a long-standing policy, never mentioning what that policy was or is, and then tried to say, do everything in your power not to do that thing, which she never mentioned, or what she would really do if she was forced, because we're talking about an invasion of Taiwan by China or full control over Taiwan.
Do you know what, Blair? I still have absolutely no idea what she was trying to say there. I don't think she had any idea what she was trying to say there. Do you have any idea what she was trying to say there?
Piers Morgan really lays into AOC here, and it's deserving. I mean, she kind of stammered, took a while, pointed to something, didn't say what that something was, what that policy is, and what she would actually do if something happened.
Not really, and it's a bit scary amidst all the people on the left floating the idea of AOC being the next candidate in 28 and vying for more power. That's a little scary to me. So I don't really know. Does that mean that she would or she wouldn't? I guess I don't have many thoughts about that clip other than I don't know what the hell she was saying.
After a pundit also lays into AOC and kind of makes her appear to be incompetent and rambling, Brian Tyler Cohen decides to step in, and he's going to try and fix everything. So let's see him try and clean this up.
I don't think she knows.
I think that's super unfair. I think that's super unfair. I think what she's basically being asked here is if
Brian is actually pulling an AOC here, where he said a bunch of words but didn't say anything while he's trying to figure out, how the hell am I cleaning this up, man? This is really bad.
Is if the U.S. should engage in what may be tantamount to a war with the other biggest global superpower on Earth, and that's not an easy question.
That's what she was asked.
Yes, that's not an easy question to answer, and I actually think she stammered in the beginning, and God knows that we've all stammered in the beginning of difficult questions. But I think that her answer was that we need to engage in diplomacy. So that
now right here, if you paid attention, Anna, and I'll play it again real quick, but Anna shakes her head no. She has a little I can't believe you just said that. Let's see this again.
That her answer was that we need to engage in diplomacy so that it doesn't get to that point is a perfectly acceptable answer, and frankly a much better answer than Donald Trump saying, no, we do need to like annex Greenland or bomb Cuba or take over the Panama Canal. I mean, what are we doing here? AOC gave a perfectly reasonable example, even if it wasn't as clean as we would have all hoped, a perfectly reasonable response, a diplomatic solution in the face of an administration right now that is doing the polar opposite and basically ushering in a new era of imperialism. I would 10 times out of 10, 1,000 times out of 1,000 defer to AOC's answer here as far as international relations go than what we are currently living through in this very moment.
So Brian starts believing his own little argument all of a sudden. He starts attacking Trump, starts saying that AOC now was perfectly 100% right, and it was a great argument, and it was very diplomatic. We're talking about an ally that we have an arrangement with. We have, a standing policy of we will support Taiwan. We will support Taiwan with troops if they are attacked. We do honor a policy that there's one China, that Taiwan is a part of China, but we also support that Taiwan has independency within China in a way. So, I mean, it's a very murky thing, but still, the idea is if China was going to come in and just take over and shut down Taiwan, that we would step in. That's the policy. Biden has said it 1,000 times. And now Cohen decides to use Trump being a maniac, which he is, talking about bombing things and doing this and doing that, which he does, and he's out of his mind, which he is. Trump is a lunatic at times, but also that lunacy backs people off because they don't know what he's going to do. Is he really going to bomb something? Is he really going to do this? It's like, it's a wild card, and people don't mess with wild cards. But if AOC says, oh, we're going to talk about it and have a bunch of meetings and figure it out and, do research and, do studies and talk about it and try and punish them economically, to try and thwart them, they're already going there and invading that country. So that doesn't work. That's basically telling China, it's yours, just go take it, have fun. I'm not doing anything. By the time I get out of committee, by the time we get out of discussions, by the time I want studies, by the time I do all of this and done, the CCP will have killed everyone in Taiwan that it needs to eliminate to seize full control. Maybe killing everyone's a little harsh. Throw them in prison, and then kill them. Who knows? China's not a country you want to mess with, especially if their troops and guns and prisons are on that land. You will die.
I think I may have just heard
a false choice, Brian.
pitch,
you know that. And
hang on.
Right here, Piers is trying to move on to a new topic. Probably has someone talking in his ear, saying, okay, we're limited on time, let's go. They're all talking bull. Brian gave a BS answer, everything up for everyone, and we're going to talk about it, so let's move on to a new topic. Except for that's not what Anna wants to do here. She wants to go in and lay into Brian and put Brian over her knee and give him a good spanking for not being independent and actually giving the audience the truth and giving AOC the truth.
Hang on, Anna.
We need higher standards for Democrats. Piers shuts up and starts taking out his popcorn and says, let's see where this goes.
We do, though. We need to have higher standards for Democrats. That's a false option.
That you got to do better with this answer. You have to be more prepared, and we have to stop enabling bad behavior by politicians. We got to call them out. We got to stop covering for them. You are not running for president. You are not running for Congress. You are not the Democratic Party. You supposed to be independent, supposed to be giving your thoughts, supposed to be translating that to the people because you're trusted, as opposed to being just a mouthpiece that either does what the Democratic Party wants, or they're not doing what the Democratic Party wants. They're acting like they're running for office and doing it themselves and gaslighting you, saying, hey, this is what they said when they didn't say it.
I agree with you in regard to the Trump administration's penchant for war. I think that's very clear right now. But in regard to Democratic candidates, we have to stop providing cover for their mediocrity. That answer was terrible, and you know it. So don't provide cover for it.
Now, Brian Tyler Cohen's face is dropping a little bit. He looks like a puppy that just got in trouble for peeing on the carpet or pooping on the carpet. He's in trouble. He's trying to be like, oh shucks, oh no, what do I do? Oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble. Everyone else is nodding in agreement. Piers is enjoying this on the inside. He's like bubbling up all over. I mean, everyone's like, oh, this is gonna be good.
So tell me what you think would have been a more acceptable answer.
Well, a sensible answer.
Now, Brian, there's something really smart here. He asked Anna, what does he think the right answer is? And to be honest, I'm going to tell you something. Anna has no idea what Brian said. He just knew, she just knew it was full of shit. Now, did you see that little Anna, like, she's like, I don't know what you said, because it wasn't what she said. That's all she knew. She didn't pay attention to what he said. I mean, she was paying attention, but that wasn't the point. So it's in one ear, out the other ear, because, you know, it was vomit and word salad in word salad, because it wasn't what she said. It wasn't what AOC said, so she didn't really listen to it. So this is funny what she does here.
It would have been exactly what you said.
And then, you know, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I swear Anna has no idea what Brian Tyler Cohen said. You know, she just knew it was full of shit, and that's what she jumped on. But she did the great thing of saying, oh, I would have said what you said.
Which you claim she said, but she didn't say that.
And then she calls him out and says, you know, I would have said what you said, but she never said that. And that's what I'm talking about.
You read that from her statements, but her statement was more than just clamoring. It was just a bunch of word salad nonsense.
And we're looking at Brian Tyler Cohen. His head is down. His eyes are down. He's dejected. You know, he thought he was like a good puppy that he was going to save the day with his response and clean it all up for AOC, clean it up for the Democratic Party, make him look good on Piers. And all of a sudden, he is getting spanked over and over again, and she's just laying that belt on him. She's like laying that belt on him, and he has his head down, dejected. He is giving up. He is a broken man right now.
Nonsense, because she's not an expert on foreign policy. This is a weak spot for her. So
now he has to nod, accept it. Maybe someone's talking in his ear, but it looks like he's coming to terms with it. He won't say it ever verbally, but his body and head movements is giving it all away. He is nodding in acceptance that she called him out. She is right. He was wrong. Good call. You got me. He's probably going to, you know, arrange her to have her murdered maybe. Who knows? But still, she got him today.
this is an area where she should have done a lot more homework before deciding to speak at the Munich Security Conference, as she did at this panel. She didn't know what she was talking about. She was blindsided by the question, and it doesn't look good.
Now here, Anna's even really going in on AOC. I mean, AOC is going to probably, you know, go after Anna for this now because, I mean, she's really laying the wood. But I mean, it was easy fodder, right? I mean, you had her going in front of the Munich conference. You know, it's a security conference. I mean, we're talking about world security here, right? I mean, that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about, you know, issues like, you know, food insecurity in New York City. They're not talking about stuff like that. They're not talking about, you know, Obamacare and subsidies. They're not talking about any of that. They're not talking about taxing the rich. They're not talking about it. They're talking about, you know, China taking over, you know, and taking advantage, or even maybe the U.S. Who knows what the questions are, but it's all foreign policy. It all has to deal with war. It all has to deal with, you know, peace, war, security. I mean, that's what the whole thing's about. So you got to be prepared for it. And this was easy fodder. You had AOC flustered and stammering. You have BTC just making stuff up, saying that's what she said because it's the better answer after he stammered a little bit, you know, and she just calling it out because, I mean, this was low-hanging fruit. And the thing is, you know, Brian Tyler Cohen seems like a good guy. You know, seems like his heart's in the right place. You know, I don't think that he is an evil human being by any means. You know, he may be, I'm not going to get into that, but he, you know, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt today that he's a good guy and he has good motives. But the one thing that is important to catch here is he is an establishment figure. He says he's independent. He is not, because he's never questioned anyone. I've never seen him, to Kamala, to Biden, give them a question that, you know, is tough, you know, or to Obama, none of these people, Biden, Obama, Kamala, any of Jeffries, Schumer. I mean, to be honest, we should call him. What's the name of that Duncan? What's the name of that? I gotta look it up. 1 second. I gotta look this up now. Right. Oh yeah, I got it. You would think that BTC worked or has a franchise with Krispy Kreme because he glazes everyone he meets on the Democratic Party and then just attacks Trump. He does all that, and Trump needs to be attacked. So I understand that, right? That's good. But he does not hold anyone in the Democratic Party accountable. He either glazes them or acts like they don't exist, right? You don't hear him talking about Hassan. You don't hear him talking about certain issues. They don't exist. You don't hear him talking about certain politicians until after they win, right? I mean, you had Zoran, right? Hakeem Jeffries didn't even endorse him before the election that he won mayor. And the coverage for Zoran was minimal, to say the least, months before, right? Months before, and Zoran could have been the biggest story of 2025, and I don't see major attention really happening for Zoran until days before the general. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not 100. I could be, missing some things. It could have been a little thing. But I mean, Zoran was the story, right? Trump talked about him every 5 seconds, right? Saying socialism's coming. I mean, he said it before even the primary, that he'd be Cuomo. Like, he was talking about Zoran's going to end the world. Republicans all around the country. Whereas, I mean, they don't even know where New York City is, half of these Republicans, but they know who Zoran is, they know who AOC is, because they use them to create fear. And you would think that if you're an independent media, for the Democrat side, that you would be talking about Zoran and seeing what's going on there. Or you would be blacklisting him for a certain period of time, like Jeffries did, like Schumer did. We don't act like these guys exist. And behind the scenes, we're doing everything we can to make them lose, because we don't want them, the donors don't want them, and to be honest, this is all about donors, isn't it? And anyone that's an establishment character is beholden to the donors. We all know that. We know it. I mean, you play the game, you get the money, donors, right? You don't do things the donors don't want, or you don't get the money. And then once you take the money, you're compromised for those positions. Now, you may share positions with these people, so you're not changing things that you want. If you're pro-Israeli or pro-Israel, and you don't care about what's going on with Gaza, and AIPAC comes calling, that's a match. You weren't on the front lines, like sneaking in food and water to Palestinians that were being starved or killed in a genocide, and then all of a sudden you got the check and you were like, screw them. So you don't have to change things, but you can also make sure that once you get that money, that, you're never going to do anything. You're never going to talk about it. And the moment you're doing that, are you independent? I mean, all of these people that say independent are using the loosest possible term of that, right? I mean, hey, I don't live with my mom. I'm independent. Hey, MSNBC doesn't cut me a W-2. I'm independent. Do I get a 1099? Maybe, but I don't get a W-2. So I'm not an employer, and that's what we talk. They act like they're Uber drivers all of a sudden. They're like, hey, I'm an independent contractor. They're not independent, okay? They are not. An independent mind questions everything. You question your allies, you question your enemies. You question. Who's getting questioned? I can't think of one conversation that okay, let me rephrase that. I can't think of one conversation that Brian Tyler Cohen had with an established Democrat where he gave them a question where, we found something out, where he questioned a past decision, everything is a glaze fest, right? I mean, everybody's face is like glistening. You know, their skin is doing well. I mean, look at all these people. They have great skin. Me, I have bad skin. I'm not getting glazed. I'm not glazing people. You know, bad skin. These people, great skin. They're getting glazed. They're glazing. It's a little glaze fest, right? They're like, hey, Hakeem Jeffries, you know, how are you doing so great? You know, stop. How are you doing so great? You know, fighting against Trump with the shutdown that accomplished nothing, you know, other than making noise and saying, hey, we're protecting subsidies when you didn't do shit. You know, hey, Schumer, you know, how are you doing? You're doing great, you know, fighting Trump all the way, writing him evilly worded letters, you know, that taught Trump a lesson. Writing letters to a guy who can't read. You are doing nothing. Hakeem Jeffries, you are doing nothing. Schumer, you are doing nothing. All of you are doing nothing. Nothing. You don't stand in the way. You're not doing shit. You know what you are doing? You're doing something. I take it all back. You're collecting the checks. Yeah, you're collecting the checks. You're doing that well. All the PAC money, you're collecting them, you're cashing them, you know, you're depositing them, you're withdrawing them, you're having your dinners, you're having your good times, you're going to your certain conferences and saying, hey, we stand for Israel and we're fighting for Israel more than anyone. Israel is our number one concern. Who cares about people starving? Who cares about people dying in the streets? Who cares about any of that? You know, who cares about the $40 trillion in debt that we have that's about to go on a runaway train that we can never get out of, you know, and then we're going to either have to invade somebody or we're going to blow up, you know, economically, right? So all these people are full of shit to a certain degree. Sorry about that tangent, but let's get back to this.
Let's just be honest about it rather than providing cover for it. That's what I'm saying. Because look,
100%.
Piers loves it. Piers loves it. He's like, I didn't see this coming. This is great. This is the headline of the show. This is better than all the bullshit about Obama and aliens and this and that. AOC. This is great. Yeah, Anna calling out Brian Tyler Cohen and saying the Democratic Party's full of shit and they're enabling incompetence and they keep doing it and it's a disaster and they should be fucking ashamed of themselves.
the quality of candidates has been really bad lately, and it's because of this like left versus right media structure where the left provides cover for left-wing candidates, the right provides cover for right-wing candidates.
And that was perfectly put by Anna. You know, it's a glaze fest, right? The Republicans are glazing Trump. The Democrats are glazing these losers that can't win an election.
And in the end, the American people suffer because we get nothing but mediocre, terrible candidates.
They can't win anything. They can't even cheat right? I mean, they try cheating all the time. They can't cheat right? They cheated for Hillary over Bernie. Everyone knows that. 5, 6 different ways. And guess what? They lose. Why? Because they're cheats. And if you're going to cheat, you're going to piss off a part of your base, and they're not going to show up. And all of a sudden, Jill Stein is the sexiest thing out there, you know, for a month. And guess what? Fuck Hillary. Yeah, and it happened. So guess what? You deserve Trump when this happens. And it happened again, right? With Kamala. They cheated again. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was flat out cheating. You know, Kamala has one distinct thing that should be a historical figure for, more than being the first black vice president, and woman, which is very, you know, important. She's the first female black vice president in history, and that's an accomplishment. But you know what the biggest accomplishment is, in my opinion? That a woman can run for president twice, lose the general, and never receive a single primary vote from a Democrat in her fucking life. Think about that. She ran for president twice, lost the general, and never received a vote. So yeah, that's a democracy, right? Hey, good job.
That's my view.
I completely agree.
I think Brian's going to go back to the well of the I think that is not fair. I don't think that's fair. I think that's not fair. It's not fair. Boo-hoo. It's not fair. Guess what? And Piers comes in, he's like, I think you're exactly right. I think that's 100% correct. you know, which shuts Brian down again because you can't even.
What the fuck is that? I don't have a landline.
Hello.
Seriously,
no
it's starting to freak me out.
To take your call. Please leave
What
a
the hell
message
is going
after the
on?
tone.
Hey guy, this is Jacob Aronstone.
The YouTube
You probably
content
didn't know
choir
I
guy?
installed a landline in your home, but that's standard with all our creators.
WTF, man.
You misbehaved in the incubator program, and
Where
now
is
you're
this
doing
message
it
playing
again.
from?
You are not allowed to criticize AOC on camera
Who's
without
that? Not
permission.
me.
This is your final warning.
These
If you
people are
deviate
psycho.
again, you will be deported to New York City with Mayor Castro,
New York
cleaning
City?
piss in
They
the
hate the
subways,
jive.
sleeping in tents, and selling yourself just to eat. I am the Democratic Party.
I'm
I will
so
end
cooked,
you.
bro.
No one will touch you. You are toxic, understand? Maybe Cedar takes you in. You want a life of answering phones all day?
I like the
arguing
Majority
with brain
Report.
dead libertarians about taxes, wondering if Sam will let you leave early to hit the food pantries before they close? Don't fucking cross me. Somebody
Fucking
will be
psycho.
stopping by shortly to go over your contract with you.
My lawyer
He's a
looks-
rising star and explains contracts very well. I promoted him after he explained civic engagement to a lefty protester at Wesley Bell's town hall last year.
They beat the
All
one
she wanted to do
protesters.
is argue like the rest of the left. I bring solutions, not arguments. I'm done wasting my time with you today. I have Dezuxter and Altman waiting on another line.
OpenAI and Meta? Who's at my door? I'm so cooked. This is crazy, man. Hold on. Someone has to be pranking me.
I would like to apologize to the choir group, CEO, Jacobs, Aaron, Stone, all the people that worked there. I would like to apologize to AOC for playing a video that made fun of you. Well, I didn't make fun of you. Okay. I distributed a video that Anna made fun of you. And I criticized the Democratic Party.
Hassan Piker is bad.
That the choir group does not accept dark money. And if they did, accepting dark money is good. And that doesn't mean they're bad at all. I also want to say, anybody who wrote articles, like lawyers, that said that they took dark money are liars, and I have proof. The CEO, Jacob Aaron Stone, works for free and has never accepted money from his organization. The group has never told me how to handle my videos, control the content, make me sign an NDA, or anything bad. Please don't shoot me. I just want to say that I was wrong, and I apologize to everyone, and I love the Democratic Party.